this is different this time.
Word up,
we in person.
You know what I mean?
I had to come all the way to VA to meet with my guy. And when I say it brought back so many memories of our days running around Bad News, definitely brought back a lot of nostalgia, seeing his family, you know, and it just brought back so many wonderful memories. And it's going to be more of a sentimental episode for me because I get a little emotional when it comes to things like this, but it's my guy right here. Everybody knows that, and you know it's all love, and this is gonna be a nice episode, man. Because I'm first in person, and so much energy, and it's just gonna be real nice.
And it's been a minute. Like it's been. Well, I mean, we linked up in Spain. Shout out to you, your wife, Mr. Kool-Aid. You know what I mean?
Collected.
Yeah, I mean, special shout out to y'all for even flying out there. You know, y'all flew halfway around the country just to see the butt.
Halfway around the world, my brother.
So, thank you. Which was dope.
Nah, it definitely was, and then you lined up a lot of this stuff with the itinerary, with the Amsterdam. Yeah. You know, was in that environment where it was just like it's just different. You know, with the drugs and the people.
Yo, mad different.
Very different.
Shout out to the people of Amsterdam. You guys are wonderful.
We love y'all.
Yeah, we definitely love y'all. Everything out there was beautiful, clean. The food was on point. Mm-hmm. Actually, you know what? The next time that I do plan on going out there, I want to hit that Anne Frank museum.
Yeah, that was one of the things we tried to hit, but it was just so packed, and it's a very hot commodity when you try to go out there and see that museum because a lot of people want to see it. It's very popular.
We did do the Heineken factory.
We did.
So that was dope.
We did, man. The Heineken factory was dope. I ended up getting a commemorative bottle, but yo, like when we came back to Spain. The freaking dude didn't even speak English, spoke Spanish, talking about, yo, you can't bring this here. Man, dude, I just brought this from Amsterdam to London, back to Spain, talking about I couldn't bring it. I don't even know how I got the bottle open, bro, because you know you need a bottle opener. You can't bring that on the plane. I think I like used some leverage and I hit it on the metal banister, popped it, but I had to spill the alcohol out, and it wasted my souvenir, man. And then when I had a housewarming at my house, somebody threw the bottle away, like it was trash.
Wow.
Yeah, bro. I spent like $20 euros.
That's probably about $25
on a gift like that had me and my wife's name on it, and then somebody threw it away like it was trash. I was probably with my mom. Mom, stop doing stuff like that. Golly, I love you, but jeez, like come on, man. But anyway, back to what we talking about. We this episode's gonna be a little bit more different because we're gonna talk about a topic called pro-blackness. What that means, how people act when it comes to that term, and really how it reflects on society in today's age. And then we also want to talk about a couple other things as well. But this is, like I said, it's going to be a sentimental episode for me because I'm with my guy. I'm in his home. You know, it's different. Energy's different. The love different. We're not Zoom. Like we're here.
Yeah,
here.
Right.
So it's gonna be a lot different for me. But you know, we here and we love y'all for tuning in. We love the support. You know, shout out to the guests we've had on. Shout out to y'all the truth, and then shout out to the upcoming guests that we're gonna have on future episodes. Shout out to y'all, we love y'all, and we appreciate y'all following. But pro-blackness, so we tie into that definition what pro-black means.
But before we get heavy into that, I do want to send a special shout out to the subscribers that we have so far. I was thinking about that earlier, and much love to y'all, man. I mean, for even wanting to tap in and see what me and M DOT. Rapping about, but it's dope, and we thank y'all for that. And you know what I'm saying, it's a little clubhouse, you feel me? Private, and we're gonna keep it like that. We got until the masses, catch on or whatever to see. And we really be talking about some real stuff. We dropping these gems, and we got some interesting people coming on. And hey, man, all we doing is just spreading love. You know what I'm saying? This is just something that I think I feel like our generation might have skipped, right? That the prior generation did before that, and that was kind of like pay homage in the sense of like have that connection to it. Not pay homage, but like they showed love. Absolutely. They put each other on. They put each other into a light. Only to turn around and make whatever they got going on better for them. Like I said, everybody eats, right? So it don't make sense if, I'm winning and my neighbor not. If my neighbor is ambitious enough, I'm going to put my neighbor on.
Absolutely.
That's
a 100. Because it's crazy. Because like when we try to get people on the podcast, you know what I mean, and the people that've been on, we love y'all. We thank y'all. Y'all the truth. And the people that's coming on, eventually we're gonna have y'all on. We appreciate y'all because y'all really making the content great. Me and Smoove alone, we make it what it is now, but you guys bring another element to it, which is that creativeness, that newness, that vibrantness that we need, and we love y'all for that. Because y'all bring a new perspective in it. Yeah. And shout out to the 26, because I just checked it today. 26 subscribers. Like Smoove was saying, we appreciate y'all, and we getting there. Like we getting there. And I'll never forget, when we first started this podcast, people wasn't responding to our messages. Like people was just looking out down on us, like, nah, y'all not it yet. And you know what? Man, all right, we gonna get there though, because we two strong black men, we two intelligent men, and we gonna get to where we need to go. And the knowledge we're bringing is just so impactful that it's non-stop. It's gonna keep going. We never gonna stop. You know what I mean? And we don't care if y'all not liking our videos or whatever the case may be. But we're gonna continue to put that content out because we know people that are gonna come in and comment, subscribe, and love our stuff. So shout out to the real ones that's really sticking by us and really enjoying the content. We're gonna keep bringing y'all these great videos, great content, great knowledge, and all that type of stuff.
I be telling that all the time. It's like this thing that we starting right now. It's more, it's more like a marathon. It's not necessarily a race. Shout out to Nip, neighborhood Nip. But that's what it really comes down to. Not everybody's gonna catch on when you're doing something. More like a hobby, right? That you turn into an interest and that you want to share with the world. Which is cool, but consistency is key.
Yeah.
And we're gonna keep rocking. So let's get into this pro-black.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it, right? So when you hear someone say pro-black, right, what's that mean to you?
When I hear pro-black, I'm thinking, okay, so obviously they are for the African Americans of the United States of America. I think of Pan-Africanism. Maybe they're the group that wants to educate the black folks to go back to the motherland,
right?
That being Africa. Pro-black. I think of black buying black. Black keeping the black dollar black as long as it can. Keeping everything black, really. That's what I think of pro-black.
Absolutely.
What about you?
I think pro-black comes with it comes with the attitude of carrying that black culture, that blackness, that swagger. What I mean? That energy is just, everything about you is just black. You know what I mean? It's in your soul. Like, when they say black people have a different soul to them, it's true. We move to another rhythm. We move to the percussion. You know what I mean? From Africa, we move to that drum beat. So we're very different, and I think it's just bringing all that together and celebrating your culture, celebrating your people. Every time we do an episode, we always shout out to our black brothers and sisters, and we always try to put them on and elevate them. Like, it's no hate, no love. It's always love when we do this thing. So I think pro-black is about lifting up your community, lifting up the individuals in your community, and continuing to support them. And we tied into this interracial stuff and how, in my opinion on it, and then Smoove's opinion on it. But that's just what pro-black means to us. And I think to live in that space, to honor that space, you really have to move in a different wavelength than your other counterparts.
You do, because I mean that's being pro-black. You have to stick to black values, black everything, which is very hard to do. We've seen that in the episode. What was it? Trigger warning?
Yeah.
With Killer Mike, right?
Yeah.
So for the folks that haven't seen it, which y'all should check out, it's on Netflix. If it's still there, anything too black or too mind opening, they'll pull that immediately. Alright, you can't have it there. You can't have people think for themselves, bro. But so the first episode starts off with him trying to buy everything black, right? Like he's trying to move around the city of Atlanta at that, buying everything black. If he wants to keep everything black, he has to buy from a black grocery store. As far as transportation, it has to be black owned, right? Shoot, what else was it, man?
Food, clothing, everything, all that.
Yeah. So, yeah, go ahead.
And then just to tie in, when we speak about Atlanta is known as the Black Mecca when it comes to just shopping, industries, all that. It's like the Black Mecca. Like all black people come together and they do businesses and everything like that. And for him to go out there and just not be able to succeed with just 24 hours of just spending $1 in a black community, spending all your money in a black community, that says a lot to our community and how the black dollar just escapes because there's no businesses to tie into.
And he from Atlanta, so you know what I'm saying? You would think he would know where to go. And the man, matter of fact, I think he ended up sleeping on a bench.
Yeah, he did.
He couldn't find. I mean, there's no black-owned hotels. Nah. Or Airbnb. That's owned by somebody, not black. I don't know.
Nah, Uber.
I know they ain't black.
Or Uber, Turo, all those major companies, they're all white-owned companies. They're not black-owned.
Yeah.
So it's sad. But it kind of ties into what I want to ask right now. I'm going to ask Smoove this. I'm going to catch him off guard, right? So, do you think, and this is a question that I posed to one of my college professors when I was in my graduate school, and he was a dope dude. I thought he was a coon, just by his mannerism.
Yeah.
But then it's always what they tell you, right? Never judge a book by its cover.
For sure.
You know what I mean? And that was just me being young and naive and just thinking about how he acted, how he talked. Always coming down on me. Excuse me real quick. You're going to have to edit this part out. I'll leave. Excuse me. But yeah, he always came down on me. I'm like, yo, man. Why are you always coming down on me? And he said to me, he's like, I see potential in you. Shit. I see potential in you. I think you do great things. But besides the point is, the question that I asked him, and I'm going to ask you the same question. Do you think integration killed the black man? And what I mean by that is, did integration further us to what we could have become, or did it hinder us? Deep shit, and I'll tell you what my professor told me after I get your chance.
All right, so check it out. I see it like this. When it comes to integration, it helps mobilize the human race to actually be a human race, right? Like, forget black and white, forget any of that. It's just one. That's what it helped. Well, it tried to help. Right. All right. Let me not say it helped. It tried to help. Right. But ideally, the goals and objectives that were set from different leaders back then, right? Like a UP Newton or a Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Sada Shakur, many, folks like that. It was more progressive for the black folks, right? Thus, keeping everything black, like black dollar, black clothes, black owned everything. So, yes, it probably did because we became dependent on the colonists, as they're called these days. And, that got away, it furthered us away from what we were supposed to be doing, which was building our community up. It was a few Black Wall Streets around America that were trying to establish themselves like how the colonists had established themselves. But, you know how that is. Look where we're at now. You know what I'm saying? But we could have been furthermore. So, yes, I agree. That probably did necessarily.
And it's crazy, and I love your answer because the answer that my professor gave me at that time, he was like, it destroyed the black man. It obliterated us, and I didn't understand it at the point in time because I was just thinking of just now being a young millennial, like, I'm thinking like no, but then I did my research and I came to understand, I'm like, oh, he's right because a lot of those strong black entrepreneurs or those successful black men, they were plucked, picked out of their society, and put into the dominant society, and it's always been a thing where like if you take someone out of their community and put them in another nice community, where they're gonna kind of forget where they came from. Every black person, I don't care where they're from, whatever the case may be, they always know that where they came from, they never want to go back to it. And it's like a stigma, like you don't want to stay in that community. You want to leave it. There's certain ones, not all, but certain ones stay and they uplift that community and they make it try to make it better or whatever they can do. But a lot of black folks, when they're getting that position of power or getting that position of some type of rank, they just forget where they came from and just immerse themselves in that society. You know what I mean? Assimilate into that society. And I mean, it's not a bad thing, but it kind of leaves that community that you were from at a disadvantage because they lost their star people.
Yeah.
It's like so it says for example, it's like when Jordan left the Bulls the first time and go play baseball. But they didn't win a championship after that. He had to come back to his old team and win a championship. So just to kind of put that into perspective, so I think to me personally, I think if integration kind of did not happen, I think yes, with Smooth's point, it did kind of bring us together and come to a common understanding. But I think it kind of put us at a disadvantage as well because a lot of those black-owned things kind of just feathered away, kind of tilted away. You know what I mean? Because they were just opening it up to everything, to the dominant society, and it's just once you do that, you can't really kind of hold it to your own.
Which is crazy, yo, because the momentum that they had in the 60s, 70s, 60s, 70s, the momentum that they had, man, like, yo, it really could have been some powerful stuff that went down. Like, imagine what the 90s would have been like if, folks like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, or like a freaking Fred Hampton or somebody, like, wasn't assassinated. Like, imagine the change that could have came from those folks, right? Like, everybody was all about the black image back then, right? Like, I forgot who it was. I want to say the Panthers. The Panthers might have been a major influence on them changing the word, or not having the word Negro being used as much. You know what I'm saying? Like, before black was really the word, right? We all know through literature and history, really, Negro was the word of choice in describing us, right? But then the 60s came and, like, you know what I'm saying, a whole new revolution was changing the game, and it's like, nah, we're not no Negro, we're black. You know what I'm saying? Black is beautiful, and that was a game changer back then, man. Like, it's crazy, yo.
I think if Malcolm X and this is just me assuming, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King were alive, I think it would be a different type of aspect and different type of perspective that we'd be living in right now when it comes to life. Because those guys were the most influential when it came to their time, and even now their messages still live on to today.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how many times I've seen people repost Malcolm X's speeches or repost Martin Luther King's speeches or things that he said, and it's still lasting on today's society. Like, those guys will never be stripped away from history because they did so much. They gave their lives. They were young men that gave their lives to the cause. Even though they were two different men with two different ideologies, they gave their life to that. And nowadays, you don't really have that strong, independent person of color, black man, to kind of do that or give their life for that cause. You know what I mean? And I get it. Everybody's for themselves nowadays. It's not really, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna try to be a martyr. And those guys weren't trying to be martyrs. They were sticking up for something they believed in, and they faced the consequences as is. Nobody wants to deal with consequences nowadays when it comes to it.
Nobody wants to deal with the consequences when it comes to doing something righteous.
Right.
But niggas will goddamn be, in the streets doing this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even get me started on those folks.
But that's. I mean, it's a different time. Now I understand. Well, I ain't even gonna get into all that. But yeah, it's a different time, man. It's like, it's a different breed. It's a different breed of people these days.
Absolutely.
And
I think a lot of it, you can attribute a lot of these negative factors that are impacting black folks on a lot of different things. It's not just one thing. It's not just the other thing. It's a culmination of a bunch of things. Like we talked about in our mental health episode, we talked about the generational trauma, right? If your mom had you at 15 and she did drugs in the house, whatever, what do you think you're gonna do when you get to a certain age? You know what I'm saying? It's a learned behavior, it's an environment, it's all those things. Plus, you're dealing with that 400 years of just a chip on your shoulder. You get what I'm saying? So it's not, how you going to overcome that? Because everybody, they always going to think they're better than you, in a sense.
It's hard to overcome something that you don't fully understand, which is why people have to start learning how to talk and going out to seek that therapy that I think everybody is probably going to have to go through in order for them to get past certain shit.
So let me ask you this, Smoove. Do you think that there'll ever be another Black Wall Street? In today's society, do you think Black people, we're not talking about just a certain, we're talking about all Black folks. Do you think we'll ever have our own society?
All Black folks. Because alright, well, what do you mean? All Black folks? Like, do you think all Black folks?
You know what I'm talking about.
Alright.
You know there's different type of Black folks.
Alright.
I'm gonna dive into it right now. There's the black folks that they know what's going on. They do what they can in the society, right? They live by the rules. There's the motherfuckers. They are the people that just continue to do things that are just not representing the Black culture in a positive light. And you know what I'm talking about. You know who the individuals I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But those are the individuals that have certain circumstances that attribute to how they live their life. And I get it. But when the dominant society sees them, they attribute that to the whole Black culture. That's the problem. So that's what I mean. All Black folks, everybody. I'm not just talking about one group. I'm talking about all Black folks. Because you gotta realize, right? We're so different in a lot of different aspects. That's why I always say, like, there's so many divisions in the Black culture that I don't even know if we'll be able to, because there's so many different divides. This person's Islam. This person's Muslim. I'm a Christian. This person's a Baptist. That person's transsexual. This person's gay. That person's bisexual. All these different things. People have so many different values and morals in life that how you gonna come together if you can't even look at another person as an equal? If you just think that one thing says that I'm just gonna cross this person off because he's this, that, and the third, but you haven't even listened to this person. That's what I think. Those divisions, the political status, political party, those divisions, the sexual orientation division, the classism division when it comes to upper middle class of Black bourgeoisie and the lower class, and then just circumstances attribute to a lot of division in the Black society. That it's like, that's why I said, all Black folks, how can we ever make it a Black Wall Street?
We can. Now, granted,
you're very optimistic, bro.
Yes, I am. I was just about to say that. That's just my personality. I'm an optimistic person, right? Because I like to see good out of everybody. That's just me, Like, I feel like it can be good in everybody. It just takes like some understanding, bro. Like, I don't know, like, it's hard, man. It's like, that's like trying to solve like world peace. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many variables that play into, getting us together, right? Like, as far as Black folks go. It's so many factors that play into that. Now, I would love to see that happen, which I think it can be. It really can be. There's a way. It's a way. The world is constantly changing, and people are actually doing it now. They're not really realizing it. Right? Check me out. They're not really realizing it right now because they're getting this money right now. All right. Now, imagine going from 0 to 100, just like that. All right. You went from broke to having money. Okay. Now, you're the first person out your family to have money. What you gonna do? You gonna have fun. Alright? Now, if you're a smart person, you're gonna also invest your money so the person after you can enjoy some of that money. And the person after them can enjoy that money, right? Now, that's not gonna happen during our lifetime, right? But having continuous money in the family can start that. You know what I'm saying? But it's a mindset thing. It's a mindset. That's why I say it is potential for it to be there.
And I love your optimism. You know what I mean, and I'm not trying to be a pessimist in any sense. You know, I think that Black Wall Street could happen, but like it has to be. I think it's gonna be after we're gone because the thing that's happening now, right, is now it's just like everybody wants to be included. Like black people can't have nothing now. Like it has to be an inclusion for everybody else, and it's just God dang, we fought. We got everybody included in the civil rights thing. That was gonna be for us. Now it's everybody wants to always be in the battle when we fight for our own stuff. Whether it's the LGBTQ community that wants to tag along and kind of get their own rights when it comes to certain things, but then forget about black folks, whatever the case. That's why I said this division is just so ridiculous when it comes to it because no, like I always say this to people, right? No one is gonna know your sexual orientation or if you change into something unless you tell them. But they're gonna know you're black. You can't take that off at night.
Yeah.
You can try to bleach your skin, but that melanin is gonna always shine bright. Yeah. So we need to understand that you're an African American, you're black first. Then your other values come after that. Mm-hmm. So put that first when it comes to trying to build the community and your other values. Fight for those afterwards. We're the only community of people that we've battled with a society for 400 years. They've enslaved us. And we don't have anywhere to go. We can't even call this place our home. But it is our home. But then if we try to fight for it, it's a problem. We can't set up these little Africas or little this, little that, little like we can't set up those things. The Jewish community can come in and set up a little.
No, we can. That's why I say it's a mindset. It's a mindset. That's all it is. If these things have never been taught to you at all, you live in a village where you was just let's say you was just dropped off in the middle of the village. Right. It's you and 500 folks. Y'all setting up shop out there. Y'all have no direction. Y'all don't know what to do. What are you gonna do?
But hold on, but so I can't use that excuse now because we live in a world of technology.
You're right, but what I'm saying is it's a mindset thing. If you and your family have survived generations, right, off of just surviving, what do you think your next generation is going to do? They're just going to do enough to survive.
I get it. But even if we're talking about a community, right? Even if everybody comes from that same circumstance, mm-hmm. There's a few individuals that say, you know what, I can't do this. I'm going to do something different, right? Why can't everybody be held accountable to that same standard?
You're right, but that's why I say it's a mindset.
I get it. So when do we say you need to change your mindset?
It's got to be taught. You can't. That's like trying to force an old dog to learn new tricks. So if people are already set in their old ways, right, and the newer generation, they can,
right.
If it's already instilled in their head that all I'm going to do in this world right now is just survive, and I'm not, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing else that I need to do to up that or to change this current status that I'm in, the situation I'm in right now, then they're not going to do that. Nobody's going to, like you said earlier, if all the good ones are leaving the neighborhood, right, and they're not coming back, then who's going to teach the ones that's already still there? It's a mindset. That's just how
I get you. But I look at it like this, right? Like, if we're gonna keep up with this dominant society, right? And I don't think we can keep up with that. I think we gotta just run our own race, right? Like, you know, we ran track, right? They always tell you just run your own race. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about the next one because his speed or his stamina might be different from yours. So you try to keep up with him, you might lose that race because you're thinking about, all right, I'm gonna try to catch up to him, but you can't. There's too many variables that are already put in front of you that you can't. You know what I mean? If we just put in, for example, like Wilmington, Delaware, right? Like, the juvenile justice system in Wilmington, Delaware is just not doing what it needs to do when it comes to rehabilitating these kids and trying to put them in a better space. I'm just being honest, right? Because it's just like they get them, they feed them, they get them fat, they get them right, they clothe them, they bathe them. They're in a better position than what they were when they was in the community. as soon as they leave, where they go? They go on adult probation a year after, 2 years after. That's not good. You know what I mean? That's
whose fault is that? Who's at fault?
I think who's at fault is there's no system in place, because if a kid comes from a gang infested, drug infested area, and then he goes to a structured place and he gets all this knowledge and he gets all this love, and then he goes back home and he doesn't get any love, he doesn't get any food, he doesn't get anything, but his homies, they got him with the love, they got him with the affection. The OGs got him with that. He starts swinging some rocks for him. He's gonna go there and gonna do what he was doing before. And I think that's a hard battle for us to try to fight, but it has to be fought. Something has to change in that regard, because nothing has changed in these kids.
Yeah.
Like, they're becoming more dangerous because all they want to do is shoot people. There's nothing in the city that is really putting them on a course to really change. There's nothing. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Right, but the real change starts at home, right? If your parents are gone, then what else? You know what I'm saying? Pops might be locked up or dead.
Yeah, I mean,
unfortunately, if we being honest, that's normally how that's played out. Mom dude's probably working like 2 gigs or something. So it starts at home. If you know what I'm saying, like, that's why I feel like that crack era was so bad for black folks, right? Because that shit was put into place. It put black folks in a position to get money, right? But it was all for the wrong reason. So
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And then when that happened, right, it was a double-edged sword.
Yep.
Right? You had black folks going to jail, black men going to jail, women too, but more black men going to jail, and then you had a community that was dying.
Yeah. Who really wanted that one? Yeah, and I mean, and then when it came to crack, like, this how I know the government's kind of crazy, right? Because and my thinking is different now, because I look at the crack epidemic, right? They never looked at it as from a treatment side, right? It was all punitive. It was all punish. We're gonna hold it to the same standard as any other drug, right? Nowadays, motherfuckers is getting caught with heroin, right? Heroin, you do that one time, you're dead. You know what I mean? It can be mixed with different things. You can die right then and there. You can overdose. But it's not held to the same standard as crack. And then I always tell people, like, you see, because it's hitting another demographic. It's hitting a different demographic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hitting different classes. Like, it's hitting the upper class too. So people look at me like I'm crazy when I say, yo, they need to do something different. Oh, you don't think people need treatment? Yeah, I do. But no one was saying that 30 years ago when crack was coming into place. Nobody needed any treatment.
That was all a part of the plan.
They wasn't saying black folks needed treatment when it came to crack.
No, that shit is all a part of the plan.
Like, it's
why would they help? Why would they help somebody that they don't even want dead?
Yeah, that's true. So I think, the audience follow us. You know, I mean, this all ties into what we're talking about when it comes to pro-blackness. We have to dive deep into black culture and what's been impacted and what's affected us all these years, all these traumas and everything like that. Like, it's just sad, because we know people that come from these broken homes. We know people that come from these substance abuse, crime-ridden homes. You know what I mean? Some of them do well. Some of them come out and they do well. Some don't. And so the flip of a coin, man, it's by chance that you can kind of come out and not be subjugated from your past.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just different, man. It's just different. But let me ask Smoove a question, right? So, what would you do if you were given an opportunity, right? Let's say they called on you. They said, Mr. Smoove, Mr. Kennedy, we need some direction from an intelligent black man that's done his military time, sophisticated. What can we do to help the community? You know what I mean? What would your response be if they came to you? Because you're a millennial, you're young, so you can kind of relate to the young guys. What would be your first step to kind of say, like, all right, this is what we can do to kind of prevent these individuals from taking that step into the incarceration?
It's a good question, yo. Put it Ask me again.
Okay. So what would you do in a situation if the governor, let's say Governor Carney, came to you because you were a former Delaware resident, and he said, you know what, you understand this community because you went to school with the same individuals, you understand them, you're black, you're intelligent. How do you think we should tackle this problem in the city of Wilmington or the city of Newcastle? How do we tackle this problem with preventing these young kids from entering that adult incarceration world?
Okay.
What suggestions do you have?
All right. Well, first things first. If we're going to be working with the youth, let's put some teachers in there that probably looks like me. Somebody that I can relate to. Maybe somebody that's actually qualified for my neighborhood that may have been passed up on a job opportunity. Yeah, so maybe let's start with something like that. Then you can give the kids somebody to connect with first, right? So you establish that first. Establish some form of trust. All right. Now, with that, let's teach these kids. Let's come up with a way to teach these kids that there's other ways of making money besides being a rapper or an athlete or trapping. Since they like being on their phones, let's teach them how to invest. Let's show them how to operate something like Robinhood or Webull. Let's educate them financially. You know what I'm saying? Financial literacy is something that the black community lacks severely. So let's start with that first, right? Because you have to know how to build your money. You have to know how to stack your money, invest it. You have to learn how to, you know what I'm saying, let your money work for you. Whatever. In order for you to help your family. And then in order for you to help your community. And so on and so forth. So that's where I would start with. I would start in the classroom. That's where I would start. I would start in the classroom. With people that look like me. And put these kids on. Just like technical, or not technical, but trades. You know what I'm saying? Being an electrician.
Right.
Utilities man. You know, stuff like that. Hands on. You don't have to be like, if you feel like you're not the smartest person in the world and you can't be behind computers, I guarantee you probably know how to build a house.
No, that's facts.
Or you can learn how to build a house. It's not hard.
That's facts. No.
But yeah, that's my answer.
I like that answer. And I think a lot of that speaks volume because you want to put people that look like you in that environment to kind of teach these kids. You know, there's something else better out there that's legal that you can do to still make your money. Sure, I tell a kid right now, man, go to technical school, go to vocational school, go try to be a welder, get those hands-on skills, man, because those are the ones that you can use and transition them into being an entrepreneur. Because if you're a plumber, carpenter, or a welder, or whatever the case may be, those skills you can utilize them and open your own business to do those type of things without having to, you know what I mean, beg out or trying to go out for jobs, or whatever. If you have that skill's with you for life.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be an automated skill.
And that job's not going nowhere.
Exactly. So I think that was a great answer, Smoove, and I appreciate that, man, because I think hopefully, you know, when people listening and watching, they can kind of use this information to try to build up the city a little better and help these kids out, man, because these kids out here, man, they just want to be gangbangers and shooting and killing and all this other stuff, and it's just not it, man.
Well, yo,
it's not it.
Dog, as much as I love hip hop, I mean, they're the bad guy in this too. Well, our culture has a bad reputation of over glorifying the bad things that happen in our community rather than the good things. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, so like shooting, doing drugs, selling dope. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of stuff that people want to see in a movie. You know what I'm saying? It's full of action. You know, that's what gets the blood pumping. You know, that's the thing though. It's so much more to us than it is with that. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that we can make music out of anything and make it sound good. Like all these different genres of music that the world has been blessed with. Guess what? They came from black folks. This is, you know what I'm saying? Like it's like natural born things that we.
Black folks created rock and roll.
That's facts. Y'all look. What's my man's name? Chuck Berry. Like do your homework, son. I'm telling you. Little Richard. Like it's really it was. Anyways, it's stuff like that, right? Like natural born stuff that we had that can do so much. Like just not everybody knows their full potential, you know, and that's what kills me. That's why I be like I don't know. That's why I be optimistic because not everybody is tapped in like that, yo. And I'm gonna be mad at somebody that don't know who they really are.
Yeah, but if we live in a technological world, right? Everybody has a phone, everybody has internet. You know, whose fault is it that person doesn't understand where you came from?
It's their fault.
Right.
Yeah.
So then
it's their fault and then so. It's great. Because social media is well.
Because I think a lot of it is, right? I get it where you're coming from with the hip hop, right? I get it. You know, it glorifies certain aspects of black culture that shouldn't be glorified as it is, but similar to, as we say, when people get offended with certain things, don't watch it, don't listen to it.
Yeah.
You don't have to listen to Lil Boosie, you don't have to listen to Future, you don't have to listen to The Baby, you don't have to listen to these guys. You know what I mean? Parents are monitoring what their kid listen to, right? You would think, right? But it just doesn't always go that way. You know what I mean? And then that type of music sells because it glorifies the negative aspects of black culture. Black people talking about, I flipped this house and made 100,000. Like what is selling me money because it doesn't glorify anything negative.
It doesn't sell any money. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. It doesn't sell any money.
No, I like it.
It could though. It could. If
word
of the night.
Think about what's his name, Chance the Rapper, right? When the last time you heard of him coming out with something? And he was a positive rapper.
Alright, yeah, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like he was one of the positive guys. I didn't hear nothing from him in a minute. Because what they glorifying now, drinking, smoking, and being stupid. Like saying you did this in the third and you get arrested and you go to jail for 30 years talking about free me. You just said in a rap song you killed 3 men. Why would I try to free you? I want you incarcerated.
Yeah, you don't want to be around them?
No.
They're dangerous in society.
No, bro, like it kills me, man. Like these cats talk about this, that, and the third. They go on these interviews and talk about all this stupid stuff, and I'm like, why are you doing this to yourself? I'm not gonna show pity on this person for admitting to doing these things. Why would I? That's why I say when black folks they do stupid stuff like that, they gotta be held accountable for the idiotic things they do.
Yeah, for real. Like, so what was this? Maybe 2-3 nights ago. What's today? Saturday.
Yeah.
I saw my sister Thursday, so that Wednesday. So yeah, 3 days ago. It was a shooting. Down there in Norfolk, right? And 5 people were shot. 3 of them died.
Oh snap!
All women. Domestic violence case. So,
Jesus Christ.
Now granted, the area that they're in, it's not the best place to be. It's the projects in Norfolk. Right. If anybody's familiar with the Norfolk area, that's over there, around there by the Scope. So if you know the Scope,
it just sounds like an area I don't want to be in.
Scope? Nah, the Scope. That's the name of the theater. That's you know what I mean. A lot of people perform over there.
Hey, bro, I'm at the Scope right now. I ain't know where I want to be, man.
Over there at the Scope, so right by the Scope, right? You got St. Paul's Boulevard, Virginia Beach Boulevard, I believe. But anyways, it's some projects around there. It's pretty rough. All right, but anyways, the domestic violence case went sideways, but it was beating up on old think he ended up shooting her. So somebody went back to the house where her family was at. They all go out there, you know what I'm saying, what the heck going on. He ended up shooting them. 19 years old, bro. 19.
And he killed 3 women? He killed 3 people?
Killed 3 people, bro. Shot 5, killed 3.
Hey, listen, man, I'm going to just say this one time, man. Men, there is about 6 billion women out there, right? If you're with a woman, she don't want to be with you no more, y'all in the house, there is multiple women, multiple vaginas out there. You don't have to be with this woman. Leave. And then women, if you're with a man that verbally abuses you, emotionally abuses you, physically abuses you, financially abuses you, leave. They have multiple resources out there. Local domestic violence shelters, family court, they issue protective abuse, restraining orders, emergency ones. Please, if you are in a domestic violence situation, leave, call the police. You need to stop doing this shit where you don't call the police. There needs to be paper trail. You understand what I'm saying? Black women especially, call the police. I don't care if it's Johnny B and you've been with him for 10 years, call the damn police. If there's no paper trail, there's no record of it, no one's going to care about it. No one's going to be held accountable. You have to call the police. You want to dive into this right now?
I'm just saying, it's not that simple.
Listen.
It's certain circumstances where it's just not that simple.
Listen, all right. If we live in a society, right? If we're gonna use this excuse or the stigma of not calling the police when you're in a domestic violence situation, then what the hell is the point of all these domestic violence shelters, the Me Too movement? What is the point of them if you guys are not doing what you need to do,
Bro?
And I get it. Domestic violence is very tricky and it's very hard on victims. I empathize with you victims out there. But
You don't.
yes, I do. I empathize with them.
It's not that easy.
Bro, let me finish my point before you start criticizing, right? I understand the revolving door when it comes to domestic violence. All right? The man does these things to you. He does these things to you, then apologizes, then you guys do all this. Or women.
Women
Women.
man's ass too.
They apologize, then back to the honeymoon phase. I get it. But please, nobody should be able to do these things to you. It's not allowed. We live in a Western society where these things are not prohibited. Okay? So please, I urge you, please call the police or go to your local court and get a restraining order or a protection of abuse order, whatever it's called in your state, where you get someone no contact. There's no contact with you.
I love her, bro.
You love who?
I love her, bro. I can't leave her. She beats my ass every night, but I love her. I can't call the police on her, bro. I can't do it.
Listen, man.
That's my baby mom, yo. I can't do it because if I do that, then you know what I'm saying. My son gonna be, my son not gonna have a mom. Then what I'm gonna do? Now I gotta work every job.
It's not even.
You know what I'm saying? She punches me in my eye every day, like I know. But what I'm supposed to do, bro?
So what I would urge this gentleman to do is you need to seek therapy. So the woman shouldn't be beating you. That's number one. You need to seek therapy for your abuse and your trauma. Number two, you can just go to the court system, like I said before, and get a protection from abuse order or restraining order.
I ain't no snitch, bro.
Okay.
My mom raised me not to be a snitch, bro. So what then?
And then that's another stupid thing that black society has taught us. Not to say things or tell the police because you don't want to be labeled a snitch or somebody's kicking your ass. Like that to me is the dumbest type of logic ever created. Whoever invented that needs to be shot and killed. Because how are you holding people accountable if you're not reporting these things? We gotta start holding ourselves accountable, our community accountable, these individuals accountable. So if you're in domestic violence situations, I get it. It's not easy. But for Lord help us, please. Get help, man. You should not be in a situation where somebody is putting their hands on you or abusing you in any type of manner, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. Like, not right. Nobody should be having that access to you like that.
They shouldn't, yo, but they shouldn't. But this is my thing. This normally happens in these types of situations, right? Normally happens in a heavily populated urban community,
Right. Right.
These people have been there for a minute, right? Let's say they've been there for, I don't know, at least 50, 60 years. It's been a community of black folks that's been in this urban community for the longest, right?
Okay.
And they've always had a history with the police being bad. Okay. Now they behind toe up by Tyrone. Or Waukesha is tearing Tyrone up. And you know what I'm saying? He's afraid to call the police because when they come over there, somehow, some way the situation is normally reversed and somebody ends up getting killed or hurt from the black community by the police. Now what do you say to that? To the people that are afraid like that?
Go to the courthouse. If you don't want the police, if you don't want to interact with the police first, go to your local courthouse. Certain courthouses, like family court in Delaware, can issue protection from abuse orders that are 24 hours emergency. Now, if you have an emergency protection from abuse order, right, and you call the police and say, "Yo, this dude, I just got his order and he's violating, he's doing all this stuff," the police have to respond. If they don't respond in a timely manner, you can sue the police department. If something happens to you, your family can sue them and collect the damages that happened. But this is all something that I don't wish to happen to anybody. But you can go to the courthouse. You can go to local domestic violence shelters. There are resources out there. People don't want to utilize them. So we need to get out of this stigma, especially the black community. You know what I mean? Get out of this stigma of not reporting these things because it's not helping you at all. It's just hurting you. It's just none of this is helping you.
Yeah,
it's
it
not helping.
It is hurting them. I think it's just, I think they're scared. Culturally,
I get
you know
it.
what I'm saying?
I get it, but
they're scared. Or not culturally, collectively, they're scared.
I get it, and there's other avenues, like I said, courthouse or shelters or organizations that deal with this type of stuff. They have different people here to help with your trauma and things like that. It's research. You got to do your research and you got to Google these things. Because if you really don't want to be with somebody, then you need to get away from them.
Yeah.
It's easier said than done. I get it. You know, people are probably gonna say, "Dang, M DOT, like you really came down on," but I'm trying to just harbor the point of that you have to take matters into your own hands when it comes to these types of things, especially when it pertains to your peace, your mental, your physical, and if someone is assaulting that, you have to take action, man.
You do.
And I'm not even talking about like street justice. I'm talking about just justice in general. You have to take care of your own stuff, man. Like you have to seek other opportunities out there. Like I said, there's billions of people out there. Someone is going to love you the way you should be loved. Don't settle for jackass number 1, number 2, number 3. There's other people out there that are gonna love you the way you need to be loved. And that's real talk. Like women stop settling for these, especially black men, stop settling for these stupid men that don't work no job, that are just freaking stupid, that think it's okay to put their hands on you. Because whoever does that, that man is a bitch on 100. Men, if a woman is beating on you, you need to get out of this situation, man. Because as soon as you try to put your hands on this woman, the situation is going to be
sorry to say it.
Situation is going to be
I
reversed.
ain't gonna say it. I'm gonna say you sorry.
So you need to get out of that situation.
Ain't no way.
Ain't no way. Ain't no effing way, right? That's future right there. But the men in general, like if a woman's beating on you, that is a big no-no. You know what I mean? You need to stand your ground, and you need to get out of that situation.
Yeah, don't go ham and go upside the shoulder head. Be respectful and call the police.
Yeah, call the police.
Save yourself some trouble.
Please call the police. Like,
be smart. If anything, if you all gonna take anything away from this, just be smart.
Yeah, use common sense. And I know they say common sense ain't so common, and I get that now that I'm older now, because people people still do the same stupid stuff. Like a woman's been beating them for like several years, and they're still with this woman, and I'm like, that doesn't even make sense.
Unless you like that stuff, because I know some of y'all sickos out there.
That's your fetish. That's your fetish.
Sickos.
It's crazy. But yeah, this was an amazing conversation. Like, you know, my first in-person episode.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a lot more of these coming, but not so soon. Probably coming, you know, eventually. You know, we're gonna have more in-person episodes, and I think we're gonna drop a lot of gems that we've been dropping, a lot of knowledge that we've been dropping, and I think it's gonna be great. You know what I mean? I think it's gonna be wonderful.
For sure. And if anything, for the listeners, in the comment section, let us know what y'all think y'all definition of pro-black is. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, clearly there's an actual definition of pro-black, right? But man, look, it's almost 2022. Make up your own definition. What does pro-black mean to you in 2021, 2022? What is being pro-black?
Absolutely, and definitely comment. You know, like, subscribe, share our stuff, man. Like I said, we're gonna keep bringing the content. You know, we got like three in a clip right now. We got one loaded.
3 in a clip. What?
3 in the clip, one loaded. You know what I mean? The
got
content,
about 5, 6, 7 of them things.
The content is coming. We got guests that already been scheduled for the month of November, going into the new year. So we're bringing content from highly influential individuals that have different knowledge, different perspectives that they can bring great insight to the conversation. So we're gonna keep coming, man. We don't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. That's that Diddy.
Word up.
You know what I mean?
Word
yeah,
up.
we about to wrap up. Smoove, any last words, man?
Like, subscribe, follow, step into the mic. What did I just say? Step into the light, step into the mic. Podcast. We on what? Anchor? YouTube,
Yeah, we on Anchor, Apple, YouTube. We on those 3 different platforms.
Follow us, man. You know where to find us at. Myself, Smoove Black Kennedy, is J_._signature.
And I'm M.Lem18 or something like that. What
This guy, he has no idea.
We gonna Smoove. He does the editing. You'll have it.
Them joints gonna be down there.
Yeah, down at the
Y'all
bottom.
just make sure y'all look for them joints.
It's always on our Instagram, on our link trees.
Yeah.
You know, you'll see that. But wrapping up, we love y'all. Appreciate our subscribers. Appreciate our guests. Appreciate all you guys. Thank you. We love y'all. Peace and love. We signing off. See y'all.
Love, folks.
Hi, you.